Hello, my beautiful crafty friends. So today I just wanted to show you some bubble moon ornaments that I have been doing. I've made quite a few of these now, and I just wanted to share some of the things that I have learned along the way through my mistakes. So in case you're doing them, you won't make the same mistakes. So I'm starting out with this moon mold. I'm actually just going to be using these three crescents. I'm not going to be doing these two or the full moon. I'm just using the crescents for this. I'll be using Let's Resin UV resin, and I'll also be using some Naked Fusion epoxy resin. Okay, so you don't need this much. Obviously, I just got these in. You can just use a smaller amount, but I'm just going to use this. Okay, so starting off, it does come with a little nozzle like this. However, I just find it easier to just pour the resin into the mold. I tend to start with the smaller two and then do the large one. So I'm just going to pour some in there. I'm going to use a little silicone, what do you call these? I don't know, a little pokey kind of tool, just to get it in against all the edges and right into the creases, the very tips of the moon. Okay, so on both of them. Go around the very edge with your silicone tool. Just make sure there's no bubbles along the edge. They like to hide there sometimes. And I'm just going to do those two for now. I'm going to use my embossing tool, actually, my embossing heat gun, just to pop any bubbles. I don't want to use a torch because I don't want to risk wrecking my silicone mold. So now I've got a little bit of water with just some dish soap in it, and I'm just going to blow a bunch of bubbles. Okay, so the bigger the bubbles, the bigger the effect you will have on your mold. And then I'm just using a silicone spatula just to bring those bubbles onto my mold. Okay, so I'm going to do those ones together. I just want a few more bubbles over here. Okay, so now we put our UV light on, and I'm going to go 60 seconds 3 times. Sorry, that's really annoying. So I'm just going to go 60 seconds 3 times, and then I'll come right back. Okay, so once you have done it for 60 seconds 3 times, we are going to flip the whole mold over, and you are going to do it again 3 times, 60 seconds 3 times, so 3 minutes on the back side, and then we will do the bigger crescent moon. Okay, just a note, when you're flipping your mold over to do the other side, do it really carefully because you don't want the resin that you've already cured to come away from the silicone at all. If it does, it will create like an air pocket on the back side and it just won't cure properly. So just be aware of that. Okay, for the next step, I'm going to be using Let's Resin Chameleon Powders, but you can use any kind of mica powder that you happen to have. I've used quite a few different kinds. I'm going to use the teal, and I'm going to find my fluffy brush that I don't know where I put. Hang on. Okay, so I'm just going to brush this on. Now, if you find that your powder is just kind of going everywhere, what I've done that seems to help is spritz just a tiny bit. Sorry, that was off camera. So this is 99% isopropyl alcohol, and I've just spritzed a tiny bit off to the side and just dipped my brush in, and so it just kind of like creates just enough moisture that the chameleon powders or any kind of powders just stick a little bit better instead of being so floaty in the air. And I find that just helps quite a bit and gets it right into the crevices a bit better. So I'm just going to do this to all 3. of the moons that I did. Just make sure you've got full coverage. Doesn't that look so pretty? Oh my gosh, so pretty. And then you just want to kind of like just do a little blow just to make sure you don't have any extra flyaways before we do the next step. So I'm just going to do all 3 of these with the chameleon powder, and then I'll be right back. Okay, so now I'm going to mix my Naked Fusion resin. I'm going to do 100 milliliters of part A and 100 of part B, and then I'm going to stir them for 3 to 5 minutes. Don't worry, I won't make you watch me do the whole 3 to 5 minutes. I'm just going to pour it and then I will stir it off camera. Okay, so I have had my part A in a warm bath for 15 minutes. Okay, and now I'm going to do, always wipe your bottle when you put the lid back on, and make sure that you do not put the wrong lid, like part B's lid on part A. You want to make sure you can get them open again. All right, so I'm going to put the equal volume of part B, and then I will stir, and then I'll be back. I just realized that I didn't explain why I was making so much. You only saw me fill the 1 moon mold, but I actually have 5 of those molds that I'm doing all at once. I'm making a whole bunch of these. They're going to be Christmas ornaments. So that's why I have so much resin. You certainly do not need this much to fill 1 mold. Like, you need 1/5 of this. So that's why I'm doing so much. And the reason that I warmed up part A in the hot bath is it makes it easier to stir, because you're going to be stirring this for a long time and your arms will get sore, so this makes it easier. And it also helps with bubbles. It might look like there's a lot of, actually you probably can't even see this, looks like there's a lot of bubbles in there right now, but they will definitely disappear very easily with a little bit of heat once they're poured. So I still have a couple minutes to go. It starts out quite cloudy when the 2 parts are mixed, and then the more you mix, the clearer it becomes. So you want to make sure that you scrape the sides, you scrape the bottom. Don't go too fast, because you don't want to introduce more bubbles. You want to try to keep it down, but really stir it well. The reasons that resin wouldn't cure are usually either improper mixing or not the exact amounts of each of part A and part B. Okay, so I still have a couple minutes to go, so I'm going to finish that and then I'll be back. Okay, now I'm going to add some pigment paste, black pigment paste from Dianca Pours. This stuff is really awesome. It's highly, highly pigmented, so you don't need very much. Like for all the resin that I have, that's gonna be enough. Like you don't need very much at all, so I'm just gonna kind of scrape that off onto my stirring stick here. Okay, and thoroughly mix that together. Okay, perfect. And you've got about 45 minutes of working time with this resin, so you don't have to rush crazy amounts, which is good because I like to try and be careful and not make a mess, because that's when I get into trouble, because then I try and clean up the mess and my 45 minutes runs out. Okay, so that should probably be good. All right, we've got our mold here, so I'm just going to fill this up. This resin is really nice because it is 0 VOCs, so the odor, there isn't any. It's just, it's so wonderful. I mean, I'm still wearing gloves. I still have a well-ventilated area, and while I was mixing, I still had my respirator on, but when I'm talking to you, I don't have it on, but it's it says breathe easy right on the bottle, so it seems to be doing its what it claims to be doing. It is a plant-based resin, which is very cool. I quite like it so far. Okay, let's see where we're at with that when we spread it around. I've just got like a little spatula here that I'm going to use to kind of spread this all around. Because there's all these weird divots in our resin underneath now. This is sometimes it doesn't flow into them all. You have to kind of help it along because sometimes there's like little, almost like walls that have been created with those bubble cell things. So I'm just gonna kind of help it into all the corners and let it settle a little bit. And then I'll see if it needs just a little bit more. I don't want to overfill them and have a huge mess, because that is a thing that can happen. Ask me how I know. I overfilled a whole mold and the whole thing was it just kept moving and moving, and I had such a massive mess on my hands. So now I do it much slower and much more carefully. Try to learn from my mistakes. Yeah, I've done a few of these now, and each time I've learned something. There is a learning curve to resin for sure. I'm just starting on this journey, so I'm just learning, but I'm loving it and feeling really good about it. Okay, so I'm just going to add a tiny little bit. I'm trying to get it so that the resin is equal, at least equal, if not a little domed with the top of the mold. I don't want there to be an indent. So I'm just going to keep adding little bits at a time until it's even, at least even with the top of the mold. And then we'll give it a little zap with the heat gun just to pop the bubbles. And the bubbles will keep forming and coming up to the surface for at least a half an hour. So we'll give a little heat to this as soon as I'm done, and then a half an hour after that I'm going to come back and do it again. Okay, I think that looks pretty good. Okay, perfect. I'm going to set this aside and put something over top of it to protect it from dust particles and cat fur, which is the main thing in my case. And then I will torch it again in a half an hour, and then tomorrow I will unmold it for you and you can see what it looks like. Okay, so I'll see you tomorrow. Okay, so it has been a couple days and it is time to demold. It's very exciting. All right, I'm gonna take them all out and then we will reveal them. I love how easily they pop out of these molds. Okay, I'll move this out of the way. All right, oh, a little bit of overhang there. Ba, 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 ba. Are we ready? And brrr. Ooh. Oh, it's so pretty. Ah, they turned out amazing. Oh, I don't know if the camera is picking up how like brilliantly these shine. There's like a blue and then a green shift. Yay! So now I just have to, I'm just gonna clean up the edges a little bit with my Dremel and then punch a hole and put a little stringy thing, some kind of ribbon to hang them on the tree, and there we have it, my moon phase ornaments. Yay, I love them. They turned out so good. This is such a fun technique. You can see what a difference. These ones both had big bubbles. This one had a lot of tiny, tiny little bubbles and then some big ones down here. So it looks, I don't know. Does it look funny? I don't know if it looks funny, but I like it anyway. All right, so there it is. I hope you enjoyed this video and we'll give this a try. It's such an easy technique with really, really stunning results. So yay, love them. Please give this video a like if you did enjoy it and subscribe for more videos to come. And yeah, love you all and I will see you again very, very soon. Be kind to one another and remember to find your rainbow. Bye.